Hello and welcome to today's AMA. So, guys, we listened to your feedback. We hear you. So this AMA is going to be short, snappy, and to the point, with all the details that you're really looking for. All right. So join me in introducing Robert. And
Hello.
Hey
hey,
guys, how you doing? I'm back. It's been a lot of busy times, and yeah, I'm happy we're doing this live stream. I also said to Robert, let's show a little bit what the dev team is doing, and that's what I will be showing this AMA. And I'm just going to give a complete, transparent insight in what we're doing, and then showing the development process and the new team setup. So yeah, be ready for some hands-on and very quick content.
awesome, amazing. How about you, Robert?
Yeah, it sounds amazing. Sounds great. We're basically treating our community as we should, I think, which is really insiders as part of the Cresco vision. So you're going to see the real work that's being done in the background. You're going to see some code. You're going to see some stuff in our Miro boards and our Figmas. It's like, yeah, and we've even got some like cool memes, I think. So it's very, yeah, it'll be great.
Yeah, we did. All throughout these 2 weeks, you've got a lot of hints community, and today you're going to see what's behind that. So, Amadeo, let me just add your screen to the stream.
Is Felix going to join us as well?
I'm going to just checking with them. Well, but please make yourselves comfortable and start the presentation if you like.
Awesome, guys. Yeah, so let me start with Dev Team Show and Tell. So basically, an agenda, what we will discuss today, talk a little bit about what the demo is about and what we'll be talking about. And then we're going to show the team setup and the process we're implementing. So the full tech team that is now basically working for a month. So the full tech team is now in process and being set up and completely running. So the machine has been started up, and we have some cool things to show you. For the CFI side, so we have a centralized finance side, of course. We have our application, our front end or our back end to show. And on the DeFi side, I have something very cool that I think some people sneakily already saw. Our leaks, we had some PDFs up on the internet, and very fast, some people already found it. So it's amazing. And I'm very happy that happens. That means that people are very engaged with what we're doing and are very engaged in the ways that we want to change the world and the way we want to make people a little bit more self-sovereign and take care of their own money and have a higher yield while doing so. So this demo is made to show what we have been done, to also an opportunity for everybody to give some feedback. You know, the community gets some feedback if they think that we're doing completely wrong, or maybe they know some other cool resource that we need to hire, or maybe some other cool methodologies and workflows that we need to implement. We want to keep everybody up to date and yeah, make changes proactively. This is basically the first Dev Team Show and Tell, so it's going to be a little bit lower level still. But you know, once it gets more and more involved, we do want to involve everybody into the Figmas or into all the processes that we're doing, right? So I'm not sure if everybody can see it, but I think they do. So here we have our complete tech team setup. We also, of course, have our amazing marketing team and business development team with Felix and Slavian. But for the tech team, we have basically me as a project owner, CTO. On me, I have Nikolai, project manager. We have our project and development office in St. Petersburg. There we have our lead developer and architect, Igor Minty, and of course, our lead architect and for the DeFi architecture is Nick Dur, which is also a community member of Cresco. Then we have our backend team, as you can see, 2 people. We have our front-end team, 2 people, where one of them is a Dutch guy, Bart, a friend of mine as well. And then we have our UX team, which is Alexei. He's a very senior UX UI designer. Then we have our testing and QA team. They will basically create automated testing for all the parts that we will develop. There will be automated testing and quality assurance in the process while we're doing this. We have our DevOps engineer, Caleb. Bertrand got a little bit too overloaded with work, so we hired another person. Bertrand is still actively advising us on the back end, but our main lead DevOps engineer is now Caleb. And we have a quality assurance person, Jan Willem, from the Netherlands as well, that basically oversees all the code that we're pushing, so that it's all nice and secure, which is important.
Amadou, I would say, in addition to that, we've got some of our design team and our web team as well, because we've got like Galina and Tatiana.
Yeah, they are from the web development, so they're more.
All right, so you mean this is the pure app team? Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, this is the pure
great
app team, and Galina also assists us with the illustrations and Savian, but this is the pure tech team that's now daily in the stand-ups, etc. That is now working on the app. But of course,
which you're doing in Golang and Flutter, right?
Correct. So we're using Golang as our backend language and Flutter as our front-end language. Yeah. All right. Any more questions? Maybe anybody about this slide, or I don't see any comments, or there we have some comments.
Everything very positive, very encouraging to see. No questions up until this moment.
Ukrainians and Belarusians, so we've got a bunch of both, and some Russians, right? We've got Tatiana from Minsk, or formerly from Minsk.
Mainly the development team is mainly from St. Petersburg. So we have a St. Petersburg office, and there's mostly the tech team based, and we have some remote people like myself from the Netherlands. Bart is from the Netherlands. Jan Willem is from the Netherlands. Caleb is from the US, and Nick is from Germany. So it's quite a diverse international setup. I see somebody time to dive into their LinkedIn's. Yeah, good luck. Make a screenshot and check them out. We can also maybe ask everybody from the tech team as well to make a profile on our forum, so that everybody shows themselves a little bit who they are, etc. That's actually a good tip that we should do.
I think, Amadeo, you have them working day and night on the app and the integrations. I don't know if they have time to update their LinkedIn and their forum profile, but anyway, the team's really powering forward. It's really good news. So
yeah, and the way that I set it up is really that we have our technology team in St. Petersburg. So it's like a pretty flexible shell that we can scale up or scale down there on that side. And here we have a remote team with professionals around the world, like Nick or Jan Willem or Caleb. It's hard. If we open office in Geneva, it's very hard to find people nowadays, right, Robert? You cannot. There's almost no.
It's hard. It's been hard to find, because you've demanded kind of the best, I think, with like the level that you're looking at. And but yeah, it's amazing. You've put together this amazing tech team, and we're just starting, right? So we're like. Particularly on the DeFi integrations, there's going to be some incredible stuff that's coming. But first, you have to get through all of the CeFi integrations. So,
yeah, what is the explosive news that's coming up, guys? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. So what is the development process that we're using? And I think most of the people watching, it seems that some people in the community already have quite some extensive developer skills, like Optimus Prime, who's maybe also if we fix the things that can help us out also in things, and other people from the community that have great skills. So what our process is as follows: we have our UI screens in Figma that we potentially can actually also just share, I think, and we're doing our best to maybe make that as transparent as possible. We're using Notion for our user stories that we can also share where we can. Then we have some small tasks, day-to-day tasks in Trello. We have our ongoing development flows, of course, GitLab and all other CI/CD setups and Google Cloud. And then we have our testance and acceptance. And then again, the circle goes around again. And if we deliver something, we deploy it, just like we deployed our institutional app last week on the testnet. So this still needs to be tested by some people that are still busy testing the software. The UI UX achievements. So we're diving now into the UI UX. We finished the user interfaces to sign up, sign in, biometrics, dashboard, etc. my wallet, transaction list, transaction view, top up, filtering, and we're building much more screens. The upcoming screens we're building on are settings, profile cards, welcome screens. So we're still busy doing the UI UX, but most of the screens are already done and are being developed right now. Well, it's very important before I show the screens because front-end achievements. So we actually have a video of the screens that we're going to show. So the front end actually, we set up all the environments, we set up all the frameworks, the onboarding flows, we set up the sign in and sign up flows, the biometrics, dashboard screens, and we researched like what's the best state management framework we can choose, and we choose Riverpod to do so. And here we actually see, it's coming here. Here we will see a little bit of a really inside peek into the beginnings of our UI UX that we will deliver. And one thing I want to say about this is that we are trying to build a merge. So what we're now building with our CFI team, so our team in St. Peter is mostly focused on the CFI part. And we also have a DeFi team that's led mostly by myself and Nick. We're trying to merge these two worlds. So first we have our regulated company in Switzerland, and maybe we will have another type of company in the future. I'm not going to mention anything about it yet, but let's see. But these worlds we want to merge together, and we want to create a seamless way for people to hold their own money, to be their own sovereign individuals into this new information age that we're going to enter. And that's what we're trying to do. So without further ado, I'm going to show you the screens that are now actually delivered on the front end side. I do need to up the quality a little bit. There we go.
The image is actually a placeholder, right? Because we've decided only to use pictures of real people in our community. Yeah. And I know Christina has reached out to a few people, and she's got a few photos of people from the community. So yeah, we're going to showcase actually real community members on our website and on our upfront onboarding screens. So
yeah, exactly. So what you're seeing right now is really on the fly, and of course in the development process always there's a lot of small details that are still need to be adjusted before we put it live. But I believe that it's very important to share with the community as soon as possible, right? All right, here we go. Especially for Mr. Dope Boy, that's such a joke. All right, there we go. I'm gonna make the screen bigger. Let's see if the quality is good enough. I think it is. So here we go. Yes, there we go. So these are just the welcome screens. Okay, here we go. It's the sign in, sign out process. It's very easy, as you can see. You fill in your details, you fill in your names. This is Bart, our front-end engineer, that's filled in his data at the moment. All right, we can select your base default currency that you want, and there you go. You accept the main terms and conditions. And this is again this is the very basic front-end screens that we're now showing. And a lot of the logic that we still have on the back end of this still needs to be, of course, created. But I believe that it's important to show where we are today and how we want to do this and what we're trying to build here. So that's it. So that's very quickly a sneak peek of what we're doing, what we're building. What's to come? We're setting up all our continuous integration, continuous development pipelines. Our form validations need to be connected. We will finish up the sign-up process, and we will finalize the teaming as designed in the app. All right, so now a very quick backend update. I'm going through it very quickly because I still have some other slides that I want to show you guys. We're around 5,000 lines have been written. We integrated successfully with our banking partners, and we're now creating more account backend logic. Here you can see our backend data models that we're setting up. This is still very high level, very drafty, so nothing really final, but this is a little bit direction that we're thinking. Something very important to take into consideration is that the currency cloud and NuvoPay entities you see here are very easily interchangeable, right? So we're already talking with multiple banks. So if we have multiple banking partners, we're easily scale up on any angle of this. It's still a little bit of a monolith structure. That's how we started. And over time, we transition more to a microservice infrastructure as well. So this is really the beginning stages of that. Well, this is really for the coders underneath us, right? So how does it work? Well, the APIs and everything already work for the for our sign in and user account creation. So you create a user account, you sign up, you create an account, and there you see on the back end actually of Currency Clouds, which is our money bank in, bank out solution. You can see that the account is created. And then on our beautiful banking interface from Accomplish, which we of course will interface with our beautiful app, you can see that the account and the banking infrastructure is also created. And there you go. You can see the account is created, Robert Sherrod. And yeah, here we can see it in our backend, in our database. You can see that the account is created and we can pull the information of this account. And let's see if people find the Easter egg username in this setup. So yeah, that's a little bit of the backend update. What is still to come? Top-up wallet, so all the money flows, which are a little bit more complex than you would think, because if you send money to a CFI account, it needs to go to different floating accounts because banks close at night, etc. So you still want to have that to float. So that means that you need to hold your own floating balances. I can talk a little bit more in depth about it maybe in a different call, but there is a lot of angles and edge cases you need to take into account. But we're all basically have taken care of that in theory, and now we're just developing it. We will create more currencies. We will have the possibility of exchange money. So that means that you will say, I want to exchange euros for dollars. Then you have to get a quote for what's the current FX price. And then we send that over to our FX partners that will then exchange the currency. And we will create a funding account data so that you can actually fund the treasury accounts of the Accomplished Bank on the back as well. All right, so a little bit about the QA. We have a QA process and coding standards in place. Yeah, I will not tell too much about that, but if needed, I can also release that to the community and talk about it a little bit more if needed. Yeah, and now the big announcement. Oh, there I went really fast. So something, I'm just going to show the screen. So something like very, very, very important that we basically came to a conclusion is that the vision, and especially the vision that Robert wants to put down, is that we want to merge or bridge like the centralized world and the decentralized world. And what this bridging and merging will do is that more people will get sovereign control over their money. More people will get actual control over the money that they have without maybe some governments looking too much into their data. So what we created is Stablecoin 2.0, and we call it's maybe still a placeholder name, but we might want to change the name, maybe not. I do like the name, and we do want to hear feedback on it because we potentially want to create something a bigger wrapper around this, which I come back to probably in our next AMA once we have more information on that. But this is the placeholder fiat USD, and fiat in this case stands for fully insured asset tethered US dollars. Why is Stablecoin 2.0? Because we guarantee a one-to-one fiat redemption, even in case of bankruptcy or losing of back of the stablecoin for whatever reason, right? The fiat that is submitted on our insured bank accounts will be insured by Lloyd's. So this means that if you mint your fiat USD token, that means that you can always go to Lloyd's that, hey, I have this fiat USD token here, I want it back. So that means you can always redeem it one-to-one. And smart contracts in this Stablecoin 2.0 enforce 100% backing, and we can't mint more than the fiat USD supply that there is on the treasury account. So if there's 1 million fiat USD in the treasury accounts, we can only mint 1 million fiat USD in this new decentralized world. So how does it exactly work, and how does it came about, right? So it basically come about like you maybe remember this image. I think I showed this before in a very early presentation. This is really the beginning building blocks of what we move towards and evolve towards. So we are creating our centralized banking infrastructure. This took me a lot of time, but it's now going very, very well. We will have our fiat accounts, bank in, bank out, banking partners. We have different fiat products maybe in the future. And we were really thinking like, okay, what kind of DeFi products can we provide here? What kind of utility? We have a couple of DeFi products we're developing at the moment that we will not share yet because of, we don't want other maybe companies to copy it, but we will release it soon, and we want to release it in a decentralized way. But how do we bridge these two worlds? The way we do that, in my opinion, is by minting our own stablecoin. So what we basically do, we have a treasury account here. People send their money in. We create a wrapped version of that fiat, and then people can do whatever they want with it in the decentralized world. And then later, if they want, for whatever reason, they want their government fiat back, they can go back, redeem it, and get their fiat and use it to pay bills or whatever. And that's basically what we have set up. A little bit more technical views here. I will not go too much in depth with this. I think we're maybe a little bit over time here already, but you can see here we have our IBAN accounts, we have our treasury accounts, and we have this is the CeFi side and DeFi side, and here we mint this via fiat USD smart contract. We mint that to the user's Ethereum account, and then from the user's Ethereum account, he can do again whatever he wants. If he wants to go back, of course, there is some redemption and some KYC AML requirements that we need to ask there. That's enforced upon us by the nation overlords. We cannot go against that, unfortunately. But whatever you want to do in the DeFi universe, you can do it. And then if you come back to redeem your wrapped fiat token, we will go to a KYC process and you get one-to-one back the fiat token you issued. Well, here you see the current status. The gray areas, this is really building as you go. So this is very, very fresh. We're working on this together with Nick, and it's doing an amazing job. We're doing a lot of brainstorming, a lot of thinking and working on this. And you can see basically gray areas are something still that we still need to do a lot of thinking about, like how do we do the CeFi validators? How exactly do we make the treasury bank account balance in the most decentralized way for the community? We're working with Chainlink. We had a lot of calls with Chainlink to get the Oracle networks up, to get the proven balance that we have in our treasury accounts on chain in our smart contracts. Something also a little bit innovative that we did, we will deploy our basically real world asset contracts with Chainlink oracles embedded in the smart contracts. So this means that once deployed, we cannot change that anymore. And we already deployed a testnet version to, as you can see here, to Ethereum and to Polygon. And we also have a bridge between the two worlds, between Ethereum and Polygon, so we can bridge the two supplies between these two networks. And here you see that with a little bit of a meme by Nick, our head of memes. And you can see here, you can log in with MetaMask, you have to sign a signature, that's actually really you. Then you go to the app and then you can bridge or mint that on these two chains. Of course, this is very testnetty. There's not that much use cases yet. I see a very good question like, what is the use case? What is the utility, etc., etc. But that is something that we're still working on, and that's something that's still to come. And we have some really amazing ideas on that to get it adopted by Curve or Aave, and of course with the connections that we have, I think that will go faster than we think maybe. So.
But yeah. Amadeo, it's a very good question about the use cases. And actually, we didn't start out to create a stable coin, right? We just started that we were building in these two architectures, the traditional banking architecture and also in DeFi. And you and I think, and then the tech team came up with this amazing idea, essentially, to merge these two. And the way to do it is to create a crypto representation of what you hold in the real world. And what that allows us to do is to have our users essentially at Cresco mint their own stablecoin. So you, the user, are essentially the mint. So rather than Bitfinex or Circle or Coinbase or whomever being the mint, the user can go from a real Cresco bank account directly into DeFi with their, with the minting powers that we put here. And the bank accounts are client ring fence protected funds that are insured with Lloyd's. So Jack, your question about Lloyd's is yes, they will be insuring these bank accounts regardless of how much you put into it. And that's fraud and theft and other protection. And what's really amazing for me is that this merger idea using this stablecoin, well, one, I think it's a superior stablecoin. But two, I think it allows us to bring, mass adoption to DeFi, brings liquidity to DeFi, and it brings the benefits of DeFi into CeFi. So in traditional bank accounts offered through Cresco here, what we're going to try and do is bring all the benefits that you see on the DeFi side of things. So I think it's a pretty cool, merging of these two worlds. Like we really see it as kind of revolutionary that we hope will lead to really, mass adoption when you combine real genuine bank accounts, the Swiss regulated company, it's insured, and you can bring to that all the benefits you get from DeFi, including the yield. So So there's some pretty interesting use cases just based on that, which is just the basic application of it. So
yeah, and basically right off the bat, we're looking at this, and with the infrastructure that we have now already, which was a lot of work to get by Robert, we can in theory, and we still, there's no promises, but in theory, there is nothing holding us back to minting a couple of fiat currencies in a wrapped form on chain, right? We can do that. And right now, what we're thinking about is basically doing that for fiat USD, fiat Euro, fiat GDP, and fiat Swiss franc. But correct me if I'm wrong, Robert.
No, that's right, because Cresco will have the ability to open bank accounts for people in 25 different fiat currencies. We're also it's a full bank account, so it's the same as like using N26, Revolut, Nubank, and the amazing thing from all of your bank accounts, you can create a stable coin directly out of that through essentially this bridge, so this this merged process that we've created. So if you can open like a Singapore dollar, Aussie dollar, bank account with us, and then you can mint your own. You can mint your own crypto version of whatever you put in the bank account, and it's free, and it's insured, and it's regulated in Switzerland. So that's the idea.
And something I really wanted the community feedback on, right? So we're designing these screens. This is really on the go. I'm not sure if I can already show, but I'm just gonna do it because I think it's important. We basically wanted to start with Euro, Great British Pound, Swiss franc, and dollars. Just to get started with, and these things we also wanted to mint them in our fiat USD demo, right? So, or does the community want more currencies? Or I think 4 is quite enough, I think. But yeah, what do you guys think?
We gotta start somewhere. The thing is like we actually have been having some really cool behind the scenes conversations with people about other currencies. That this idea is essentially you could bring yield into traditional bank accounts because you can bring that from particularly in US dollars. I mean, I think having this like free essentially Cresco bridge, we've designed it for the DeFi community. We've designed it also to encourage mass adoption because we're regulated. This is insured. Yeah, it's definitely not perfectly decentralized, but I think it's better than the stable coins that are out there. And the idea is that it's in the power of the users to create their own stable coins. Like you are the mint. And Amadeo, once we have the other, currencies, minted and on chain, then it leads to many things. It leads to payment rails, for example. So we've had some discussions about Singapore dollars, Israeli shekels. I mean, Aussie dollars. We've had some serious discussions about how people could use this for, for payment rails. So
and we can basically mint it in any currency, right? And a big question there is like, I mean, how difficult do we want to make it? But basically, what I was thinking about minting it in like different currencies, and then having like decentralized trading bots that have a little bit of front running capability over the other market makers, and then that way create some revenue for for the people that are involved with this, and basically minting fiat USD, fiat euro, fiat Swiss franc, fiat fiat Great British pound, so like these currencies, and then create our own like small like automated FX market on chain, and then from there provide liquidity, real world liquidity to more and more use cases. But something that the community does need to understand, and we also really understand, is that it's not really easy to get all the volume in, right? So it's going to be a slow but long process, but I think we are ready for that. And as Doughboy already said, it's basically minor extracted, maximum extracted value for Crescofin users. Yeah, because that is the design of the optimal system, is where the maximum extractable value that can be gained by normally the central point of power, we push that to the edges as much as possible. So we want to create this DeFi, CeFi merge bridge, and everybody that we want to push all the power of that bridge to the edges as much as possible, so that everybody that's actually using it gains power from it. And that again, hooks back into my idea that I had about like a vampire attack or a liquidity event, where we basically, offer a better service than the current system provides. So that's basically I see a country or a jurisdiction also as some sort of a protocol, and we just provide a better protocol, and then people can choose whatever they want to, or maybe we will not provide a better protocol, and then people shouldn't use us. But I think what we're building here is a bit better than the current, like banking systems where you have to go, to the bank, you have to do phone calls and stuff. Here, we mint it, it's automated, you can go all over the world, you can use all these cool DeFi protocols. And the bank is not ready for it.
And our real idea, of course, Amadeo, is to be as decentralized as possible. As everybody knows, you and I are kind of DeFi fanatics. I think what Cresco does that's also amazing, though, is it really plugs into the real world. And so, but rather than essentially having to go through us as like the minter, we're setting up this process that the user can be the minter, that the power to do that is going to be in the hands of the user, which I think is really cool. We're trying to make it that Cresco is like, it's going as least as possible through centralized control. And I know Yuli asked some questions about, would there be other assets backing fiat USD like silver or BTC? And actually the answer is no. It's going to be very pure. So if you put $1 in, if you put $1 into your account and you want it minted on the crypto side, you get $1. It's free. It's like insured. You actually have a, Swiss, My Wallet bank account, but we can do it for other assets as well. This is designed to be a real merger of the traditional space and the crypto space. And it's designed to be as frictionless as possible. Yeah. And it's really designed for DeFi, right? I mean, it's free. It's almost going to be like a common good. So in the future, we might have something where people deposit like, I think you said silver as an example. And yeah, you could actually mint, kind of a wrapped, whatever, ERC20 version of silver or other real world assets. But we can only handle so much. So I think we're going to start with these 4 currencies. But this is the idea is this is a back and forth. This is bringing real world assets in a frictionless way to DeFi, and then bringing DeFi benefits where you've cut out the banks. Mm-hmm. You bring the benefits like yield, for example, to traditional finance. So
yeah, so that was a very quick and fast update, and the community asked for it and we give it. So here you go. no much too much small talk, just overload of information. So good luck processing. And yeah, good luck processing. And I hope this is good. What I will do with this, and what I also want to do moving forward, is I want to make these development show and tells as transparent as possible. So I will upload this to our governance forum at crescovin.ch, and there I want to publish our development update like every time that we do a show and tell. And yeah, I will upload it there. I will paste the link in. I will give the link to Slavian. I will paste it in Discord, and when I upload it, I will let everybody know, and then people can find the presentation deck and go over it by themselves. So this was a quick update, and let me know if there's any questions.
Well, Yuli asked a good question, which is like, is that how we're going to prevent features, like additional features that always creep in, all these good ideas, from delaying the launch of the app. And one of the answers, I guess the answer is that Amadeo is pretty ruthless about cutting out as much as he can. Everybody has all these great ideas, and Amadeo too has great ideas, and then he shoots down everybody else's ideas and his own, because he's incredibly focused on delivering a bare bones skeleton MVP so that we can participate in DeFi Summer. So there's a lot of amazing things that are on the backlog that the team are going to do. But the first version of the app that's coming out, don't expect it to be like in English, they say all singing, all dancing, full of features. It's going to be basic, but the basics are amazing. You're going to have the ability to go from to open an account. It's going to be global. It's going to be, the fiat wallet. And from there, eventually you'll be able to access right into DeFi, and it's frictionless, right? Do I answer that correctly, Amadeo?
Yeah, that's correct. So basically, we also built an institutional app, which got a little bit distracted, but that's also going live as well, right? That's now being tested. But the whole team is now fully focused on delivering the retail app. And we hope to deliver it as soon as possible. And to give people a better insight, we created actually a transparent roadmap on Trello, which is now in the final stages of review. And after that's signed off, then basically everybody can see our development stages and focuses. And right now it's just retail app and fiat USD as well. So we have our CeFi team that is now completely focused on getting the retail app out. And the DeFi team, which is, I'm a little bit in the middle, but it's Nick and myself, to be focused on getting the stablecoin out. And ideally we do that at the same time. And maybe because CeFi is so complicated, we might even front run the CeFi team with web app release of the wrapped fiat coin with the fiat USD token, and then later have that also integrated with our retail application. So working very hard on it, but I must say that it's not really easy, because when it's like you ask, when you do any process in life, you ask somebody a question and you get a response. That's also how computers work. So you ask a question, you get a response, and there's a certain way you expect things to happen. But in CeFi, it's all it seems that it's very old technology, and compare that to, for example, Ethereum or Polygon or other blockchains. We're also looking at Arbitrum, we're looking at Optimism and other layer 2s to integrate with, to be ready for layer 2 summer. It's much easier because everything is just clear. It's built by engineers, where CeFi is built by bureaucrats and politicians, right?
Slavia, this is where you're supposed to like put Amadeo on mute, you remember, in case some of our bank partners are watching. But you can see that Amadeo is genuinely Amadeo's genuinely going to lead a vampire attack on the traditional banking system. But you know, the team is working around the clock on this. Like we're really also trying to get as many people from the community that can help us as possible. You know, like we got Nick from the community. We got actually Amadeo himself was like a W. Kruz shareholder before Stani recommended him, and he came on board as the CTO. We have one other superstar from the community that we're trying to recruit. We're working on like employment contracts for him. At the moment, I spent a little bit of time even earlier today with our legal person looking at those contracts. So we hope that in 2 weeks at the AMA, we'll have yet another like person to announce that will join us from the community. Slavian.
Yeah, we want to really be community driven, and it's funny. Like I work for a couple of DAOs, right? So like MakerDAO or Curve or other organizations that are more decentralized and also centralized organizations. And yeah, we really want to see how we can make things more decentralized and transparent. And I think it's very important to, especially in finance, we want to be as transparent as possible to everybody because we're working on a public good, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I know there was some questions about, are we going to put it into, GitHub or GitLab? And yeah, definitely the idea is so much of this is going to be open sourced and people can see it. We've had a number of calls with some specialists where we've really shown people in the community behind the scenes, what we're doing. We have a guy who's going to do a security audit, right? Amadeo, another one of your friends that we're like bringing in. I can't remember if he's Dutch or not, but it's like the team is basically Dutch and Russian now.
Yeah, and it's very hard to find good security people. But luckily, I know Alexander, and Alexander is also the same guy that audited the Uniswap version 3 contracts, and he is right now helping us reviewing all our smart contracts. Before we're going to put them live, we will first have a beta version of the smart contracts. But the security process, it's very, very serious process because, I think with releasing a stablecoin, you will only get one chance to do it right. If something goes wrong, etc., you lose that trust. So that's what we don't want to do. We want to work with the best people, and we want to really get out the most secure software in the get-go as soon as possible. And Alexander, he's helping us as an external consultant right now with the smart contracts, and he helps us around one day a week, and then we go over all the code. We have brainstorming discussions with him, and he's a senior security auditor from Trail of Bits, and one of the best security audit companies in space. And getting an audit from them takes around, there's a waiting list for a year. So luckily we have an consultant from them that helps us. But we already have also Hacken, which is a security company that potentially wants to, well, they already agreed on helping us with our contracts. So yeah, that's looking all very interesting.
Right. So I actually have a really nice question that I like here from Yuli. And it touches on the institutional part because of this whole insurance and safety aspect. What would you say to Yuli?
Felix, do you want to take that, or do you want me to take it? I think that institutions would like it, but
I think it's going to be incredibly interesting to see where the DeFi ecosystem, especially with USD, and how that will merge into traditional finance, especially with the amazing work that Amadeo has done for institutions, especially Switzerland, Dubai, especially considering the way institutions tend to make money these days is through Lombard loans. They over-leverage Lombard loans, and then they push a 3% yield to 6%. But then there's a joke in traditional finance. High-risk bonds used to be high reward. Now it's high risk and no reward. So some of the biggest speakers in this space, like Novogratz and others, are pushing DeFi. But along with DeFi comes problems, and what we're trying to do here at Cresco, thanks to Amadeo's genius, is really change that. And if this bridge works, which I believe it really will, it will traditionally change the way institutional investors, and especially hedge funds, OTC desks, can access DeFi pools and other sort of products in this space. That's my opinion.
I think that's absolutely right.
If I may add there, like we saw now Compound or Coinbase giving the 4%. It's going really fast. It's like Robert had this vision and now suddenly it's all falling into place. So I think we're at the right time, at the right place. I mean, Compound and Coinbase are a little bit bigger than us, but I think that's why we have a little bit more agility. So we can move a little bit, more agile. And I think it's nice what they're building. But it's still a little bit limited because right now it's only accessible from California, etc. I think what we can offer basically the same services to institutions as to our users as well. So we don't want to discriminate like, oh, you need to be an institution to get this or this. Now everybody can get it, but also institutions can get it, right? So institutions can get it and they can have a phone call with Felix to get a little bit more at ease or feel chill that there is an actual person behind it, or they can just trust the protocol. Doesn't really matter that much.
I think the biggest thing that Fiat USD provides in a space where, as everyone knows, I think everyone familiar in our community with Rec News, Amadeo introduced me to that, is as much as there are innovation, there are scams. And for people who are placing billions or hundreds of millions in multiple different bonds with different investors and looking for different projects all around the world, the biggest thing is security. And I believe that Stablecoin 2.0 and the way that Amadeo has created Fiat USD significantly provides that for institutions. So from a risk reward point of view, it honestly would be silly of them not to consider it in the future.
Wonderful. And just to continue the discussion on the security concerns, because Amadeo was going in depth on this. What are the security concerns with user data, given how many platforms, integrations we need to conquer finance on a global level?
Yeah. So I have some big fundamental beliefs on that. That I think the government kind of forces you to spy on users, and it's ridiculous. Like they force you to ask
Flavian, this is where.
Oh, sorry. Well, it's like they ask you to ask so much data for users, which is fine. It's great because we of course don't want to deal with the wrong kind of people, right? So what we're planning to do is just we capture the data and we fully encrypt that on our service. And then if the government wants to see any of the data, they need to show probable cause, and then we can show it like that. And that's something where I want to achieve, what I want to go through. But at the beginning, of course, we're using Google Cloud servers that are located in Switzerland, fully compliant with all the ISO and all the regulations. We're working with Verif or Compliant Vantage and company to basically do all the AML and KYC checks as automated as possible. So yeah, that's it.
I always joke with Amadeo. We have exactly the same views on like government, involvement in privacy and things like that. It's just that Amadeo can say it a little bit more. But one of the reasons why we're in Switzerland as a company, and eventually potentially as like a DAO, is that it's really protected by Swiss privacy laws. So everything that Amadeo is saying, that the government needs to come and prove essentially that they need access to the data. In Switzerland, it's taken really, really seriously. So, you got to be somewhere. So I think being in Switzerland is probably the best jurisdiction.
Wonderful. Okay. So when you meant Fiat USD, can you choose between multiple networks? Because we showed a couple and actually show the Ethereum Polygon. So is this a start point? What's it like? What does it look like, Amadeo?
Yeah, so this is really a starting point. So now we're renting on Polygon is like a side chain, so we will be able to mint on Ethereum, Polygon, but also other layer 2s like Arbitrum or Optimism. But we're even looking at Solana or at Avalanche or at other chains, because we basically build our own bridge, right? And this means that we can basically go to any chain that we want. If the chain is not EVM compatible, that means that if the chain is not accepting the same code that as Ethereum does, that takes a little bit more work. But if the chain is EVM compatible, like Phantom, like Alex says, or Polygon, we can easily integrate with it. So yeah, right now we have on our shortlist, we have Ethereum, Polygon, Phantom, and Arbitrum or ZK Snarks, ZK Sync or Optimism. These are basically our shortlist, and then we have on the longer list we have Solana or other chains as well.
Wonderful. Okay, and I see John has been asking this question. So what happens to the fiat in Cresco if someone mints fiat USD and degens it, well, loses it? There's no fees. Does that stay with Cresco forever until it's paid back as an accounting asset liability?
Yeah, I can take that. Well, yeah, so it's yeah, that's like how, I mean, like if you mint a token, so let's say you buy Ethereum and then you lose Ethereum because of a action, or you trade it, or you degen somewhere in, well, yeah, and then of course it's gone, right? So that really depends on the user, right? So if the user does something weird or stupid, then of course he can lose it. But that being said, you know, it will be hard for them to redeem it, because we have, of course, we have a mint and redeem function. And if a hacker or somebody goes to the redeem function, then if his account is flagged, then it will be hard for him to redeem it. But we're working on the most decentralized version as possible. So this is it's a hard question to answer, but I would say if you're if you mint fiat USD and you lose it, then it's gone. But the fiat USD that is then sold to the other person is always redeemable one-to-one. One-to-one if the person redeems it. Yeah.
Right. So we went into the technicalities of everything and into fiat USD quite deeply today. Let's just see what kind of questions you've been sending, and then see from there. Okay. So Q1, the institutional demo app up now. I think we've already addressed this. Anything you'd like to say? Any other details about this app? What's the situation there?
Yeah, so it's now being tested internally, and when that's done, we can deploy it to production.
Awesome. Okay. Question number 2, the big ambitions, like a NASDAQ listing, if you remember, Robert. So somebody was talking with their friends, and the friend asked, well, what's with this deal? I mean, Crescofin's not based in the USA. Will this not pose a major problem for such an ambition?
Well, you know, of course, the NASDAQ listing is not, is not for tomorrow. We're like so excited to support like DeFi and to be listed on Uniswap, right? We're the first regulated company to have issued real equity tokens in DeFi. And, Uniswap is amazing. It's perfect for us at the moment. People had already asked about a centralized listing, and, I'm not such a big fan of things that are centralized, just like Amadeo and many of the others. But if we were going to go somewhere that was large and centralized, the goal for Cresco is to be, just an enormous company and to make a real difference in the world. So, a NASDAQ listing, why not? It's not for tomorrow, but it's not out of the question. I mean, eventually, we are interested in being the biggest bank alternative in the world, and kind of making the world a better place by offering a better banking model. And we're not gonna stop until we achieve that. So the fact that Cresco is not based in the United States isn't a problem, because foreign companies are listed on the NASDAQ as well. So But again, I'm like, it's, you always have to have goals in life. I mean, I think that's a great goal to have. It's a personal goal for it to be there, but it's, it's not for tomorrow. So
yeah, we either go big or go home. No Binance allowed here. So what's up with Q3? The question number 3 is, how is the Bancor proposal coming along? Right.
Yeah. So as you saw, I made a video on Bancor. It's cool. Now the Bancor Pro is a little bit on hold with some ongoing issues with the security token setup, but I hope to get that resolved very soon. And then we will moving forward with that.
Okay. And well, let's go with question 4 here. So somebody saw Robert's following Bob Reed from Everest on Twitter. Is there anything more to this? It was just an inspiration.
I'm really interested in companies that are operating in the real world and operating in crypto. So I do follow a lot of these. So I do follow a lot of these companies, and I get a lot of help from the community. So Everest was tipped to me by Archon, who is one of our earliest supporters. He's a community member. He's here in Switzerland. He interviewed me. I think it's on our YouTube channel, and he follows a lot of these companies. So he kind of points me in the direction of some of these. Everest is like, an earlier stage company. I think that they're going to be one of the winners in the space, just like Cresco. I mean, obviously, I think our model is a little bit more attractive for me, but like, there's a number of them that I do follow on Twitter. I'm interested in the Terra ecosystem as well. So I think it's pretty impressive that Chai, their payments app, is actually used by millions of people in, South Korea. And so, there's a few of them out. There's a few of them out there that I follow. But is there anything more to it? No, it's just that I'm genuinely interested in merging these two architectures. And I think that's going to happen. I think it used to be that people would talk about your e-commerce strategy or something like that. Nobody talks about that anymore because e-commerce is basically merged with commerce, right? I mean, I think the same thing is going to happen with crypto. We're in the earliest days. People talk about, crypto, DeFi. I think in the future, it won't be DeFi. I think it'll just be finance. I mean, that's the way finance will happen.
Felix, there's one for you. All right.
We got a lot of fans out there.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is I'm working hard for the community, and that's it.
Fair enough. So when's the boat party in Geneva? I mean, we're working towards something, aren't we?
Well, that might come up in the future. At the moment, everybody's just so incredibly busy on building this. Amadeo is, of course, an amazing CTO, but he's also a little bit of a taskmaster. So people are really focused. We really want to be part of layer 2 summer, DeFi summer, whatever. We're really working hard to contribute to it. So we're not going to be going on any boat parties until we've delivered something to try and really help advance DeFi.
And I think it's on this lighthearted note that we should conclude. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. It was amazing to show the technical progress for the very first time to you, and to show Fiat USD. We'll be keeping tabs on these questions, on these topics as well, explore more as we go along during the AMAs, and we hope you join us for some future ones. All right.
So, Flavien, just before we end, I would say one last thing from Christina is that she's helping build the app and also the website with the help of Damien Horner from Real Vision. And one of the things she's really excited about is having images of people from the community and testimonials and so she is going to be reaching out to the community in the Telegram and Discord over the next week or so. And we're looking for we don't want to have fake stock photos on our website. We want to have real photos of, like, you know, it's going to be of the team, but also the community. So, you know, don't think it's fake. If Christina reaches, okay, if she asks you for money, that's probably not that great. But if she asks you for your photo, it's not fake. And I know that she's really happy that some people who describe themselves as traders and degens and people who are like usually like to remain behind the scenes have actually sent her their photo. So really amazing if people would help out. You'd really be helping out Cresco if you're, you know, if you're willing to send your photo to Christina.
Yep.
Wow,
So
that's
you're,
amazing.
in some sense, you're going to be helping, well, build the face of the company. Really, you're going to be part of the face of the company. So I really hope you you accept the invitation. All right, that's all the time we have. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.